I'll probably go home after this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What the heck, dude?
Probably work out at the gym. Well, they haven't called me. I have a computer supposed to be coming in, but they didn't give me an ETA.
They did. They said from whenever, but you tried.
They said 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. we'll bring it. But last time they came when I was at work and no one was home.
That's such BS. They know the route before they even leave for the day. They know where they're stopping. The guys are going like, oh, I'm just going to pop up at this place and then that place. Like, here's a set list. So you have estimated, like, obviously you still have some kind of window, but why would you?
Well, I told them if they could do it at a specific time, or like, can I be the first stop or can I be the last stop? But they didn't call me back, so.
Nice.
Cool. Also, Shopify's not working, so Rollo Athletics tip of the day isn't up either. Today's just been so productive so far.
We've gotten coffee.
We got coffee and we got a key made for Hudson's house because we're staying here the next few days.
Yeah.
Because my apartment, or my condo is...
Next few days? You said Thursday, dude. Thursday, get the hell out. Thursday and then go somewhere else, dude.
I think we can go back Friday night.
Okay, well, if you need to, you can sleep in the garage.
There's a nice hotel.
There's a garage. I got a garage you can sleep. So one thing I wanted to talk, I just saw on Instagram recently, and I saw it this morning actually. I can't remember where I saw it or who posted it, but it was essentially super simple. Less is greater than more, especially when it comes to training, because everyone, especially, I feel like, and then I also saw another post, I can't remember who this one's by either, but it was an abbreviation. It was like TED. It was like toxic exercise something, like referring to like the amount of people wanting to always do more and more and more, and like it's the root cause of something. Like, for example, not that I want to say any names, but some people at the gym that we have that like yeah, I come to the gym 6 days a week, and then maybe they also go running all the time, and maybe they also do like any other extracurricular activities. But people think like just how
more is better.
If you want to get more, if you want to get smarter, you have to read more books. You have to do more studying. If you want to make more money, you have to put in more hours of work.
Yeah, but it's not the amount, it's like the quality, and that goes with like, just because you read 100 books doesn't mean you understand the books you read.
Exactly.
Like, you should take the time reading the books, understanding the concepts that you want to understand, and you don't have to finish the book necessarily. It's just get what you want out of that book and then move on to the next book.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys listen to Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan had a guest. His name's Naval. Follow him on Twitter as well. He's a cool dude, and that's what he talks a lot about. He talks about people think an abundance of things and doing like lots of volume, since this is a CrossFit podcast, so they think that volume is better than everything, when actually you should be understanding what you're doing while you're doing it. In this case, it would be quality of training, quality of movement over everything will get you a lot further. But I think because we see people like Rich Froning and Matt Frazier and all these gains athletes training 5 hours a day, we think, oh, if I do that, I'll be as good as them. When actuality,
no,
yeah, no, they're training 5 hours a day, but like everything they do is planned and it's for a reason. Specifically, it's not, hey, Matt Frazier, do all of this working out randomly and see if you get better. No, it's like, we're going to be focusing on running. This is what you're going to be focusing on. Okay, now you're doing weightlifting stuff. Because our running was such high intensity, like lower intensity on weightlifting, and then we need a gymnastics focus at the end of the day, strength-wise, and then the next day is planned around that first day. It's not just gymnastics, weightlifting, running, swimming, every single day you get better. And I feel like people fall into that trap, especially at the gym. They go to the gym, they train 6 days a week, 7 days a week even sometimes, and they do the workout, and then they're like, I want my squat to get better, and I'm going to squat, even though they just did 45 squat cleans in the workout, and I want my glutes to get bigger. So then they do glute bridges, but they just did back squats heavy, and then they want to do the barbell class, which has squat snatches in it, and you're not giving yourself enough time to recover. It's not quality by then. And it's funny because I have people do my barbell class after CrossFit, and they can, like, they're hitting 30-40%, and they're like dying through the movement. You can't focus. You're just surviving at that point. So I know I just talked a lot, but that's
literally I thought of 7 things to go off of that with. Yeah. One of them, kind of finishing with starting where you finished off. It's like, that's the thing too. Like, when you're brand new to something, like say for example you started CrossFit 6 months ago, if you just keep doing the regular classes, you'll keep getting better if you're actually putting your time and effort into the class and like learning as much as you can and asking questions versus just going through the motion. But then once you're like, okay, I want more, I would like to maybe do competitions, whatever, you slowly ramp up into doing more volume, very, very slow. Like, you don't just go from doing an hour-long class to now you're doing a program that takes you 3 or 4 hours a day to complete, and then you're going to die off. That's what we did when we do some program. We were doing a competitive program that was like 2 hours or so at one point, and then the next thing we went to was like a 4-hour, 5-hour a day programming, and literally it was like,
I feel like I got worse.
I wanted to cry every single day because it was like so much. My body could barely handle it. I could barely mentally handle it. It was just not good. But then going back to what you said about like not just putting in more time, I listened to the Conquer podcast with Jason Layden and Angelo Cisco, and they had a guest on recently, and I think it was like their second to last podcast. I can't remember his name, but the guy was a physical therapist. He's making a tool, like a new scraping tool, but like most scraping tools like are pretty flat and like hard to hold on to. This one has a handle. So like they're trying to be more innovative and be more helpful physical therapists. But he was super insightful because he's talking about how like he thinks if he sat down with Elon Musk or with what's the guy's name that owns Amazon?
Jeff Bezos?
Whatever. Like if he sat down with them, what would they think? What would they be doing? Like what is their thought process when it comes to tasks and getting stuff done? And Elon Musk doesn't work 26 hours a day.
Jeff Bezos.
Elon has the same amount of time that we do. Mm-hmm. He might sleep a little less. He might, spend less time eating and might only eat one meal a day. But besides that, he's the same amount of time as we do, and just how much quality time you spend. And it's the more you spend actually like sitting down and like not being distracted, like putting your phone away, not like doing little meaningless tasks. That's one thing I've been trying to avoid too, is not just like when you wake up in the morning, like I gotta get this, that, and that, and this done. And it's like one thing is actually productive to your day, or like will get you further to what your goals are. And some are like, hey, I got to go to the grocery store and I got to go to this and that. It's like try to do that or try to facilitate what is a priority and what's not, and put all the priorities first. So that way like, okay, I have to go pick up my dry cleaning. That can be at the end of the day. Don't make that the first thing of the day, and then all of a sudden you get stuck in traffic, or you end up having a buddy calls you and you need to go help your buddy real fast, because then shit, falls apart. Obviously, not every day is going to be perfect. So making a well thought out plan, and then whatever you're doing, like if you are trying to actually learn something, you are trying to put in the work towards getting better at something, you need to make sure you're actually understanding it and fully soaking it in. Because some people just think that, oh, I didn't do the last 2 weeks of programming because I was on vacation or I was busy with work, whatever it is, and they try to come back and then stick to the same percentages. It's like, that's not how your body's going to work.
No.
You're not all of a sudden just going to be able to
handle it.
Yeah, you miss 2 weeks, but you're still going to get just as strong. It's like people don't understand simple concepts like that, and that can lead to them not hitting PRs, hitting plateaus, getting injured, or Well,
I think balanced training volume, something that I've tried to learn and understand from my coach. My coach is George Briones. We had a podcast with him a few weeks ago. Something that I didn't understand before, but slowly starting to understand. I use the Whoop as like a training tool to see like recovery on specific days.
What's your code?
Code Rolo for $30 off, something like that. But like balancing your training volume and like to your recovery, etc. So what my coach had told me, I had a long talk with him, was pretty much like some days we're going to have like high intensity, high volume, and then we have to balance that with maybe like moderate or easy intensity, easy volume. And then the next day maybe we could be moderate, maybe we could be high. So typically it would be like, 2 high days, 2 moderate days, 2 low days a week. And you balance that with your week to make sure that you're recovering each time. Like if you do a really hard day and the next day you're completely red and you can't even train, maybe that first day should be moderate. Maybe the next day is high because your recovery is still okay, and then the last day's.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You make it fit to where it's not just high rep all the time, or high. What's the word I'm looking for? Redlining all the time.
Yeah, you're not trying to go 100% every single day and crush your body. And I've been practicing this with my athlete Shauna. If you guys don't know, I coach Shauna, and it's been awesome. obviously you have to make sure you're eating enough food and drinking enough water, but she's noticed like, oh, my recovery is so good. It's because I've been doing this, been doing that. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's also contributed to our training days. You know, you're not just going 100% trying things you're bad at every day. It's
doing 20-minute AMRAPs trying to kill yourself.
Yeah. So that's been interesting. That's been cool. I've been trying to focus on that too with my training. Like, what kind of day is this supposed to be? Let me approach it that way.
2 things off of that. First thing, also too, it can change day to day. Like, for example, if you let's say your coach does make a program where it's like medium, high, low, medium, low, high, whatever it is, then you can go and like, let's say somebody, you wake up and you're super beat up. Like, maybe the day before you worked all day long, or you were on your feet. Maybe you went to Disneyland and like all of a sudden it drained you more than you thought for some reason or whatever, and you realize, oh, I'm actually really sore and tired, then I can't do all the volume today, or it's going to be lackluster, so then you can always adjust it then. And maybe if you do have a coach, plug and play and move days around. Like,
adjust your training.
Yeah, exactly.
Adjust your training.
And that's one problem that I think I have with a lot of things in life, is like, it's always like all or nothing. So it's like, if I'm going to do a program, I'm going to follow every single fucking piece to the T. I'm going to crush it.
Or
and
you
then
do
it's like,
nothing or you do nothing.
And then you're like, you get in your head, or you miss a day or something gets busy and you're like, I'm just not going to do it at all. I'm so frustrated. Like, what's the point at this point? I can only do half of the day. What's the point of even doing any of it?
Right.
So that's one thing I deal with. But the other thing I wanted to say was, also, if people want to get better at something, it's like breaking down what you want to get better at. So even though you follow a specific program, it's nice to be able to, like, let's say you're pretty even at most things.
Okay.
It's cool because you can get better at a lot of different things. You're not really lacking in certain areas. But let's say you're someone that just cannot get a muscle up. You suck at muscle ups, like it's your one biggest weakness. You don't need to do a Metcon that has heavy clusters and running and muscle ups in it. Maybe you do, like you've programmed for Shauna, like EMOMs of 1 muscle up.
Yeah.
Just so you can practice, get skill work, and maybe EMOM 1 muscle up transition or 1 pulling variation to get you better at those things. Because then you'll get sweaty, you'll get tired. Like, so I think that's what most people want to do when they come to the gym. It's like they want to feel like they did a lot. They want to feel like they beat themselves up. Like, oh, mission accomplished. I'm tired and I'm sore. That means I did a good job.
Yeah. Which is the wrong way of going about training. You don't need to be crushed and sore every single day.
The goal is not to be.
You need to focus on your goals. If your goal is to feel crushed and sweaty every day, cool, go get crushed and sweaty, but be a little bit smarter about it.
Yeah, do Fran every day.
Yeah, don't go in the gym, do the workout, do barbell, do extra stuff. Go and get sweaty and get tired. So if you already did a bunch of barbell work, maybe the next day you go get sweaty and tired with intervals on the ski erg or rower. Again, unless you want to just do the 1 hour a day and get out of there, cool. But like you said about your day, when you plan out, these are my priorities, this is what I need to get done, this would be nice to get done. That's how your training should go. If you're lacking in something, that should be your main focus of the training day. And if you get at least that done, it's a successful day. If you don't get the other, I got my transition works, I did my accessory for my muscle ups, because let's say your goal is muscle ups, and then you weren't able to do your 14-minute AMRAP, of wall balls, dumbbell snatches, and running, that's okay, because you worked on your priority for the day.
Yeah.
I think that's smart. That would be good. I do the same thing with my athletes. I think a lot of athletes, they want to get better at something, but then they save it for the end of the day, which it's like, that should have been the first thing you did today, because you just crush yourself. Your upper body is already sore. Do you think you're going to be able to put any energy in these muscle ups or these snatches? The only time I think you guys should be doing things under fatigue that you aren't good at is if you have a competition coming up and the last workout of the day has something you're not good at. That's the only time you need to practice under fatigue. I talk to a lot of people in my barbell class, and I go, hey, like, are you doing the WOD today? Oh yeah, I'm doing the workout today. Okay, well, what's your goals right now? Well, I really want to get stronger and get better at snatching, clean and jerking, etc.
Yeah,
and
I'm like, okay, I want to be a better athlete.
Yeah. So and then I go, okay, so are you doing barbell or CrossFit first? And they go, I'm doing CrossFit first. So you're gonna go tire yourself out, get really, really sweaty, fatigued, drain all your energy for the day, and then you're going to come to barbell
and try to lift heavy
and not be able to focus on the movements because you're so tired. Because I see it all the time. They get to the barbell class, they can barely hang on the bar, their grips smoked, their legs are sore. It's like, no, you're not trying to be a competitive athlete. Come do barbell first, focus on technique, focus on moving, and then the little cherry on top is the conditioning that you're gonna do in CrossFit. You know, maybe CrossFit had some heavy strength, but you already did some strength stuff in barbell. Cool. Stretch, skip out, do some accessory pieces during that instead, and then hit CrossFit after. You gotta learn to manage this. Obviously, I'm not saying you should know all this because you shouldn't, but if you guys have
it's
questions,
good to have an outside perspective.
Yeah, just come ask us and be like, hey, what do you think I should do today? And we'll ask you a few questions like, are you trying to be competitive? Do you have a competition coming up? No. What's your overall goal? Health and wellness? Cool. You might not even need to do barbell today, you know? We're just doing high rep snatch waves. You don't need to do that. Go do CrossFit and go do some accessory stuff. Yeah.
I think one thing too is like when it comes back to the idea of wanting to do all of it or none of it, like it's like I have to commit to every single day.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, you gotta push, pull, squat, and a few other like movement patterns. But like as long as you're doing all these things, you're good. Sometimes like, I'll do a program where one of my strengths is my posterior chain. Like I can squat and I can pull a lot. So is that not true?
It's true.
Okay.
It's just frustrating.
So for example, the other day my programming had squats after squats after squats. It had like squat snatches. I think it was hang squat cleans and then front squats. And I'm like, I don't need to do all this. So I prioritized what I needed to get done. And then I went and did the workout. The workout was something that I had done the previous day just because life's been crazy. So I did your Metcon, which had a bunch of muscle ups in it. And the workout, my program had a bunch of muscle ups in it. Like I don't need to do back-to-back muscle ups. I'm a smaller dude. I'm decent at muscle ups. So I did bench press and yoke carries. My pressing is super weak, like external pressing. I'm good at bodyweight pressing, but then also I'm horrible at moving weight. Like when it comes to just moving a sled or a yoke, I'm very, very bad. So I was like, I made the things I wanted to get better at a priority because I want to have a better snatch. So I did that. I need to get better. I need to be more explosive. So instead of doing the hang squat cleans, I did hang power cleans, and I made the Metcon close to what they had programmed, but I focused on my weaknesses. So even if you are just a class warrior, you just come in, you crush the hour-long class, like even then sometimes I have people come in the gym all the time and they're like, yeah, you know, like they can only make it to the gym 3 days a week maybe. It's like their commitment is, you know, all over the place because they're nurses or they, you know, travel a lot for work. And like, man, I don't want to do the heavy squats. I haven't done cleans in 2 weeks. I'm like, boom, this is what you're doing instead for the workout, whatever it is. Like people don't need, as long as they're, again, pushing, pulling, squatting of some variation, like as much as as varied as they can throughout the week, that's the end goal. You don't need to do everything under the sun, every single type of movement every single day. Because some people come to the gym and they'll do my classes every now and then. Sometimes they do open gym and they'll make up like 3 Metcons on their own. And I think it's because of the fact that they want more than an hour, but they don't have any really guidance to it. It's like, what is your goal?
Yeah,
you just want to do a lot.
You just wanted to crush yourself.
You just want to have fun. Yeah, because at the end of the day, the workouts are fun. Like it's cool to make a workout. It's like 15 minutes of a butt kicker. And it's things that maybe you are good at or aren't good at. So either you're having fun because you like it, or you're not having fun, but you're getting better at something you're weak at. But it's like, at the end of the day, what's your goal? What do you want to accomplish? Are you going to compete? Do you want to stay fit? Do you want to get better at your weaknesses? Do you want to make it to the games? So it's, at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is having outside perspective from someone, and you tell them what you want, so that way someone else can come to you and say, this is what I think. Because it's very biased. When you're
get yourself a coach. Is what we're saying.
When you're talking to yourself and you're like, yeah, I need to get better at this, I need to get better at that. You might need to get better at thrusters, but you also need to get better at wall balls, get better at muscle ups, get better at running. But you always just like, your go-to is just programming yourself thrusters because they're probably the most bearable out of those 4 or whatever it is. Like for example, I need to run more, and I don't tell myself that enough. So it's if Shauna comes up to me and says, hey, you want to do running intervals with me? I'm like, sure, I need to get better at running. So it's just finding, I think the biggest thing is understanding what you need to get better at and then what your goals are off of that. Maybe you need to get better at muscle ups. Maybe you're not going to compete and you don't really, everyone would like to do a muscle up. Everyone in the gym, if I said you want to do muscle up, people are going to go, no, muscle ups are stupid. Everyone thinks muscle ups are cool. But if I tell, you know, I'm trying to think of a random name that doesn't go to the gym. If you tell Joe Schmo that they want to do a muscle up, but deep down, they only go to the gym for an hour and they like, their happiness isn't dependent on getting a muscle up, they don't need to get a muscle up. So it's like that you have to know what your weaknesses are, but base it off of what your goals are and what you want to get better at.
Tying this all together in one quick list, I think it would be prioritize your goals, So prioritize your goals, have a plan, execute said plan, and don't crush yourself. Be smart.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Smart.
Don't be afraid to change things. Don't be afraid
yeah.
to do if it's too much or if it's whatever it is. Like, be adaptable.
Adaptable? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Adaptable? Is that a word? Guys, comment down below.
I'm gonna look it up right now. 'Cause it sounds like a word, doesn't it, or does it not?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a word, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, adapt. Yeah, adaptable. Able to adjust to new conditions.
Okay, be adaptable.
The one other thing, this is very random, but I thought it was pretty funny. It was like when I look at people's Instagram, and like they put like CFL1 in their bio, and it's like having a CFL1 in your bio is essentially like me putting GED in my bio. It's like that literally. I mean, it pretty much means nothing. There's people that I know that take that level 1, and it's like they might learn some new things and take some stuff from it, but it's like it literally doesn't mean anything. It's like literally taking algebra in high school. It's like, yeah, it's necessary and it might help you every few months in your daily life, but for the most part, you don't like. It's so like it's like the bare minimum. And if you want to actually, if your goal is to be a mathematician, that is the base. You need to have so much more on top of it. So I think
it does mean something. I mean, the person had to put in the work. They had to learn. They had to go over the stuff. They had to pass a test. So I mean, I feel like it does mean something. It gets your foot in the door. It's a stepping stone. I think it's important. I'm proud of you.
It's a stepping stone. It's important, but I feel like people like put that in there. They think that means that it gives them some type of like entitlement. Like they are now a coach. Like that's what I feel like. That's what I think the issue is. People put it in. Like, I'm not saying it's not. People tell me they have level 1. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's cool. But people that put it in their bio and they're also like put a bunch like, adventurer, traveler, CFL1. Like these are things that define them. Uh-huh. And it's like, well, okay. Well, are you actually? I would be more impressed if you just put CrossFit coach, because then I could mean anything. I can mean you have just the L1 or a bunch of different things. But if you're a coach and if you're like a coach people like, and you have a coach that has full classes, then you're doing something right.
Let's see this
real quick. I don't know why. I thought it kind of like irked me a little bit, but it did.
I think you did good if you have your CFL1. Keep going. I
mean, do you? I know people that have their L1 that still don't know how to move very well at all.
I think that CFL1 is good. Just because you have it, though, doesn't make you a coach. I agree with that. I think that if you want to be a coach, you need the experience. You need to follow somebody who's already been coaching and learn. And yeah, if you have CFL1 and you don't do anything else, I don't think that means very much. But if you have a CFL1 and you're like continuing your learning and you're at a gym and you're coaching, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you could have just your L1 and be an awesome coach. But I feel like people when they get their L1, they think, I am now a coach. Like I know so much more than everyone else. And it's like I have people in my classes that have taken an L1, and it's like they still just don't understand a lot of the principles. And it's not against them. It's not because they don't know it because of the L1, or they don't. How am I going to phrase this? It's because they know a lot of things from the L1, but the L1 doesn't teach you how to like fix every single thing wrong with a snatch, right. Which is what I think is a like the big part of being a coach, is because everyone moves so differently. So you have to understand how to, if you have 10 people in a class snatching and they all snatch differently, but they all need improvement. No one is class snatching perfectly. Being a good coach, to be able to help all those people out.
Yeah.
To be able to or troubleshoot.
Well, I don't think anybody's putting it in their bio like, yo, what up, I'm a CFL1. I think they're like, I freaking took this test, I passed this test, I enjoyed the weekend, I love CrossFit. By the way, I passed it, CFL1.
I guess.
I put that shit in my bio right away. I was like, yo, CFL1, what up? And then started coaching a few months after and realized that I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah, it's...
if you guys get your CFL1, try to find somebody that you like as a coach and you look up to, and try to learn from them and get their ideas and how they coach. And once you suck up all their info, Find another person that you look up to.
Yeah, once you use them for their knowledge,
use them
to
for
the
their
curb.
knowledge. Yes, no, use
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm as smart as you now. Get out of here.
No, use everybody for their knowledge. If you find somebody that you look up to, try to take
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker.
I don't know much
Is
about
Darth
Star
Vader
Wars.
Luke Skywalker? But you know the situation I'm talking
No,
about,
it's his
right?
father. Luke.
Anakin.
Father. Yeah.
Is it Anakin?
Anakin.
Is he the one that turned into Darth Vader?
He's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn into Darth Vader. He goes to the dark side, gets burned, they rebuild him, and then he has a messed up face, so he's Darth Vader.
Okay. Well,
He's
it's
like,
kind of
my
like
face
that
is, don't
scenario.
look at my face.
So you're just gonna, grow up with them, and then you try to kill them. You battle. Who's the best coach? Physically.
Get your CFL 1, have a kid, have your
Kill
kid
a
want to
coach.
become a coach, and then murder your son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what he's getting at right there. No, if you guys have any questions from us, let us know. It will help you as much as we can. Our knowledge is this big in the grand scheme of things, and there's this much to know. But we might have resources and things that we can direct you in the right direction. Like, for example, a lot of my questions I ask my coach because he's freaking smart, and I'm sure that there's people he asks questions to and learns
I'm not
from.
his coach. You pointed it. Looked like you pointed at me.
Oh, sorry, I pointed to my phone. Coach George Briones. He's a badass. He's freaking savage. So he's the head programmer for Softly, if you guys follow that. So it's cool beans. Cool, guys. So yeah, don't train like an asshole. I think that's how we
What
can
were those
tie it
principles
together.
again?
Prioritize your training.
No, it's goals first, right?
No, prioritize your well, yeah, maybe have
The
goals.
hierarchy.
Maybe you need goals before you prioritize them.
Just
goals,
record back in the video and remember what we said.
Goals, prioritize your training, and then more is not better. We said something like that. We
What
change
was
it up
it?
every time. Pretty much, guys, all together, don't train like an asshole and have direction with where you're going. And if you don't know how to do that, find somebody who can help you.
And more is not better. Quality. Quality over quantity.
See ya.